Hey, I wanted to share with you a little bit about, my story and how I've actually come about building lifestyle listings and everything that I've done in my life so far. I've been in the real estate business for a long time. It's been over 20 years. And I've had a lot of success. Back in 2006 and 7, I owned my own mortgage company, had a real estate firm. We were doing so much business together and it was exciting. And then 2008 happened and there was a crash. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It wiped everything out. I went from making all this money to nothing overnight. I lost everything. I lost my mortgage company, lost my real estate firm. I lost everything that I had. And the deals just stopped. Just the faucet got turned off. And went from making all this money to nothing. And I wasn't able to afford the lifestyle that I created for myself and my family. And I started losing everything. 12 motorcycles, all my cars, all the money in the bank. The house went into foreclosure. And then to make things even worse, the mother of my children, she sat me down. She said she was leaving and she was taking the kids. I remember this like it was yesterday. I was sitting in a chair kind of just like this. And I looked at her and I said, is there anything we can do to work this out? And she said, no, we're past that point. I'm taking the kids. I'm going to stay with my parents for a while until I figure some stuff out. And I looked at her and I said, but there's got to be something we can do. And she said, no, there's nothing we can do. All you're doing is drinking all day. You're not going to the office. You don't even have an office. You can't support our family. I don't even know how I'm going to feed the kids today for lunch. And I thought, oh my God, you're right, there's nothing we can do. So she left. That rental that I was in at that point, I couldn't pay the rent. So I had to call my dad and I said, Dad, I need a place to stay. And he said, son, I thought you were rich. And I said, I was. I lost everything. And I said, I don't even have my car. It got repoed. The last car that I had that I was hiding got repoed. And my dad picked me up and he fed me. And he literally looked at me and he said, you got to do something. And I said, I know. And for 2 years, I lived on my dad's couch, trying to figure life out, drinking heavily. After one night of drinking his entire liquor cabinet, I stumbled down the hallway. And I went into the bathroom and I remember gripping both sides of the sink as I'm shaking, looking into my own eyes, staring into my own soul for the first time ever. Body full of alcohol poisoning, like my veins pumping alcohol. And I'm just sitting there, just shaking. Looking into my own eyes, I started yelling at myself. What's wrong with you? You're better than this. How did your life end up like this? And I passed out. And the next day when I woke up, I had a moment of clarity. That moment of clarity was I was never going to drink alcohol again. I literally slept on the tile that night in the bathroom floor. The next thought that came through my mind was, I got to become a better father. How do I do that? I hadn't seen my kids in some time at that point, and it really hurt. And I know they needed their father, and I needed my kids. So at that point, I didn't even have a computer. I went into my dad's office. I took over my dad's office that day. I went on Google, because when I'm busted and I don't know what to do, I go to Google. And I literally went to Google and I typed in how to become a better father. Tony Robbins popped up. Tony Robbins that day changed my life. I watched every single free video he had on YouTube at that point. I did every exercise that I could find that was for free because I had no money. And I just kept working and working and working. For the first time ever, I felt better about myself emotionally, spiritually, even physically I felt better. My dad kept coming in trying to do work for his day in his office, and I kept kicking my dad out. I was like, Dad, you got to come back later. I'm changing my life right now. And he was like looking at me like, well, something is different. He could tell there was like a sparkle that came in on my eye. There was light back in me. And he let me go. And I talked my dad into purchasing a ticket for me to go and see Tony Robbins live, and I did. That changed my life forever. I would go to Tony Robbins events. I would learn everything that I needed to learn. I would come back and I would implement. I would start helping people. I would start making some money again. I wasn't drinking. I built a relationship with my kids again. I was seeing my kids. Everything was going good. And then I would go back and spend more money with Tony Robbins. And then I would come back and I would implement and I would make more money. And then I would spend the money that I'd make to see Tony Robbins again. And I was chasing Tony Robbins everywhere, every single event. And then at one point, it was $10,000 an event. And I was thinking, $10,000 like once, twice a month, like this is really getting pricey. I gotta get smarter. How do I hang out with Tony Robbins without spending all this money? I said, I'm gonna become one of his security guards. If I can become one of Tony Robbins' security guards, then what's gonna happen? is I can be close to the man. And I don't have to spend money for the event, so that's what I did. Travel the world with the man. Went to Fiji, went to different places in the world, protecting him and his family. And as a result, I got the content and I learned things. I learned that if you want to attract people to work with you, you got to offer value. You got to add value. And I thought, well, I got to ask better questions. So the questions that I started asking myself was, what do realtors want? If I want to come back as a lender, if I want to come back and have every realtor that I want refer me their business and want to truly partner with me, what is it that they want? What can I give them? And I thought for a minute and I go, they want more business. If I can give realtors more business, they will partner with me and I can partner with whoever I want. So that's what I figured out how to do, was how do I generate business? How do I figure out how to generate business for realtors so they'll partner with me? Well, I was in a network that you could imagine hanging out and being around Tony Robbins. And I started asking and started interviewing the best people in the space of marketing in different industries, not in real estate. And I would ask them how they'd market and they would say, well, we add value. We solve people's problems. When we solve people's problems, they want us to work with them. So I figured out that concept and how to inject that into the real estate business. And now, for many years, I've been able to attract business online, been able to attract sellers and buyers. So what would I do? I'd literally get a realtor and I would say, hey, I've got a seller. Would you take good care of my seller? They would say yes. They would put it into contract and then they would wonder what's going on. Why did this random lender give me a seller? Then I would call them a week later and go, how's that transaction? Are you in contract yet? And they would say, no, not yet, but we got some offers. Or yeah, we're in contract. Great, do you want more? They would say, yes, of course. Okay, well, I'd like to sit down with you and talk to you about how that looks. Would you be open? They would say yes. So I'd sit down with them and I'd say, I'm looking for partnerships. I can send you as much business as you want on a consistent basis weekly if you want to work with me. And if you want to send me all your buyers, I'm going to send you business. Because I was able to generate sellers and buyers online even 10, 12 years ago. So that's what I was doing. I built partnerships that you can imagine. I remember going to the Christmas party, being top producer of the year. My wife looking at me as I'm carrying the trophy to our beautiful, expensive car, ready to drive home after our Christmas party for the company. And she goes, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I'm just not happy. She goes, why aren't you happy? And I said, I don't know, there's just something missing. She's like, what do you mean there's something missing? You made more money this year than you ever have in the mortgage business. You've helped more people than you ever have. You got more referral partners referring you business than you could ever imagine. You got people from different states referring you business. What's wrong with you? I said, I don't know, honey, but I'll figure it out. The next morning, I figured it out. I was in my backyard, my beautiful backyard, walking around in there. And it hit me. It said, you need to coach. You need to share your gift of marketing with the realtors nationwide and even worldwide. You need to talk to realtors. You need to teach them what you know. So that's what I did. That's why I built Lifestyle Listings. Because I know that there's more business out there than I can attract. There's way more sellers, there's way more buyers than I could ever scale my business to be able to help. So I know that I'll be fulfilled when I help realtors, so that's what I did. I built Lifestyle Listings. And now for years I've been helping realtors just like you attract business online. And I want to help you. So I'm really glad you're watching this. I'm fulfilled now that I get to help realtors at the level that I'm helping them. And this is going to be an amazing relationship that we have. I know because you're watching this video, you've been attracted at some level with some of our messaging. Just remember how you felt when you first met me online. Remember how you felt, wow, this guy's the solution. Things are going to be better. Just think when I teach you how to make sellers and buyers feel that same way. Where's your business going to go? How much business are you going to be able to create? So I can't wait to see what we do together. I can't wait to see how strong our relationship together becomes. And we'll talk to you real soon.